Wait,
But we don't
guess
have
what?
to have it figured out.
Guess what he
What?
said?
That's what
No,
they
not
say.
again.
But sometimes it's like
I know.
there's so much free will.
But how
It's okay,
does a
take it
20-year-old
easy. I
We
know,
can travel
life
so
is
much,
hard.
but then we are broke.
so
We don't
hard.
have
We have to
money.
figure so many things out. Money, marriage.
You know, I don't understand my friends.
relationships.
Yeah, sometimes it's just so confusing.
I love you.
Having like a session here right now.
Or maybe it's just conversations over coffee. I hate confronting
Or hot
people.
chocolates. I would love a hot chocolate right now.
Do you want to start a podcast?
Let's do it.
Welcome back, everyone, to the 20s in Transition podcast. I'm your host, Anusha Kanan, and
Likita Gopinath. In our second episode, we're going to be talking about life after graduation. And Anusha and I were going to share our own experiences about how our lives have been after graduation.
yeah, it's been a while since you graduated. How has life been treating you since then?
Yeah, I know it's been 3 years since I graduated, and I did my bachelor's in technology from 2016 to 2020. And I graduated at the time that COVID hit. So I didn't really have a graduation. I think none of us did. So to be very
Yeah.
honest, life's been a roller coaster, like throughout uni and after. Like I realized in the second year of my bachelor's degree that, oh my God, this really isn't for me. Like, what do I do? I had to push through like 2 more years, and I couldn't wait to get done with my degree and do something else that made more sense for me. And I also knew that I didn't have it in me to continue studying, immediately after my bachelor's degree. So I applied for just one job at campus because I really heard great things about the company and its culture. So I really went out on a limb here because I had no idea how I was going to get in, but I still had that confidence. But I was so sure I was going to get in somehow, and I did. Uh, the only company that I applied for, and for the position that I wanted at that time. So this was sorted like halfway through my last year in uni. So I really had the last 6 months to enjoy. So yeah, I mean, I started my first job in 2020, right after graduation, and it was remote. So I think it was a big advantage, right? Like almost like a soft launch into the big corporate world. I'm actually grateful that I wasn't dropped straight into like meeting rooms, meeting people, in real life. And I'm so glad like I got to meet everybody in remotely and be given those responsibilities. And I had the time to get warmed up to this new life, get a grip of the nitty gritties and how a huge ass corporation works. So yeah, that's how my life has been. But let's talk about you a little. You graduated like a couple of months ago. You did your master's degree. Tell us more.
Yeah, for me, when I did my undergrad, it was in IT engineering. The first day of class, I remember sitting there. I was like, this is not for me. I don't want to be here, but I've paid full fees. What am I going to do? I have to go through it. This is nothing I can do. And like Indian parents, I cannot go and tell them, this is not my passion. I want to be a YouTuber. There's no way I can tell them that. So I was like, might as well go through with it. There's nothing I can do. And I also didn't know what else I wanted to do. And I felt like absolute crap all the time. But I think once I graduated, like before graduating the fourth and third year, I started venturing out into other stuff. Like I wanted to learn digital marketing because that was such a thing at the time, and yeah, it just clicked. I knew that marketing was what I wanted to do. It was what I had to be in, and I mean, I didn't want to be a part of the whole like rat race, but at the same time, I wanted to do something that made sense to me, and it was the complete opposite of how I felt in engineering college. And I still felt like, this guilt of like, I've paid so much money for engineering. I probably should give it another shot, maybe do a post grad in that and just see if I like it. Fortunately, I ended up liking it. I like data science and business analytics. And I kind of started thinking, how do I merge these two worlds together, marketing and analytics? And went ahead and did my master's degree because I thought being a part of the global world might, expose me to some other things that I might not be aware of. And that worked too. And yeah, I graduated in May and I'm a corporate girl now. I don't know how I feel about it. Still not able to digest the part because I love going to college. I love going back to school. I hate seeing people going back and they're all like prepping for the new semester and being all excited about exams. But I love that. I love buying stationery, getting everything together. All my labels are looking good and then picking outfits. But yeah, I miss it. I miss it so much. And I think that feeling of going back to school is something nothing can match that. And being an adult, and it's weird. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I also think one of the biggest challenges when you're about to graduate, right, like is that you're literally stepping into the real world, because for so long,
Mhm.
for like 3, 4, even 5 years, however long your bachelor's degree is, you've been under an institution, following their rules, having a routine, attending classes or not, but all of us have like a common goal, and we work on projects, we study for exams, assignments, etc. So you wouldn't feel alone in this aspect because everyone's sort of doing the same thing or working almost towards the same goal. But once you're out, it's like a deer caught in headlights. You're exposed to like so many possibilities, and you have to make your own rules and routine. You're no longer under the control of someone else, it's all you. You have to figure things out on your own. And speaking about figuring things out on your own, I'm going to be very honest here. Like, my current job is in no way related to what I studied. So,
Mhm.
I did my bachelor's in biotech, and I'm currently a project manager at a software company. And it's very natural for me to feel like I've wasted the last, those 4 years of my life. I mean, imagine asking like a 17 or 18-year-old to make this huge ass decision of what they want to pursue for the rest of their lives. I mean, I feel like it's just too much pressure, and it's completely okay if you realize that, what decision you made wasn't for you. And I think there is significant amount of people that study one thing and, end up working in a different field. And I think it's perfectly okay. And what I'm trying to say is, I think you need to explore and try different things to see what you enjoy doing. And I think I've told you this many times. Sometimes I feel like I'm a jack of all trades. I'm not blowing my own horn here, but I do feel like I'm, moderately good at um, a little bit of everything. Like, I like to sing, I like to dance, I play the guitar a little. I've done my certification in diving, and I'm a little artsy. So I don't think I'll be doing something very conventional, but I'm still figuring things out. But yeah, I think it's a journey of exploring and seeing what clicks. Yeah.
I think when you talked about like your bachelor's degree not making sense now, but I think it's about like being a jack of all trades and all of that. But when you moved to another city. I saw you move when you were like 18, and that was such a huge experience. I think that will always come with you throughout your life. It doesn't matter if you lived alone, if you lived with other people. It's still an experience. At that age, moving away, I was like, what is this girl doing and why is she so excited about this? I didn't understand why you did that, but I mean, that was such a huge ass step right at that age, and you're figuring so many things out, and you don't even know that city, and you're not going to live with your parents anymore. You don't have that spoon fed life anymore. How did that feel for you?
I do. Thanks. But in retrospect, I really didn't understand what I was actually doing. Like, the gravity of the situation, that I was actually moving to a different city at 18. I feel like it was something I did on autopilot. Not very aware, but in the beginning, I thought I made the biggest mistake of my life, moving away from home and all the people that I love. But I'm so glad I did, because those 4 years changed my life. It actually it's made me who I am today. And I met some of my closest friends at uni, but I also had some of my lowest times there. But it's only made me stronger and wiser. And I learned to be independent at 18, I think, which most people have. And living alone is a process of learning so much about yourself, right? You'll have a better understanding of what you like, what you don't like, especially if you're living with roommates. Uh, it only brings to the surface what you don't like. I mean, very rarely I had things that I like that my roommates did, but I was very picky. But at least I
Mhm.
learned better about myself. But yeah, I think it's necessary for everyone to live alone or away from home at least once in their lives. I think you would agree, given that right now you're living in a completely different country and
Mhm.
alone.
Hmm. Yeah, I think I'm an only child. I didn't have siblings growing up. I always knew how to entertain myself because you cannot always depend on your friends to entertain you. And I think I always knew what I wanted to do, and I never really felt lonely. That's not something I can talk about because I've never felt lonely. I felt bored, but I've never felt lonely. But when you live in another country, I think like you have to figure everything out, and there was no time for you to try and test things out. That's what I've realized. When I moved, I thought, okay, I'll try this and this, because it's not just about like money constraint. You don't have time as well. You don't have time to figure every single thing out, and you have to find a hobby to make sure you don't feel lonely. And It's not like you can just call your parents at any time you want because there's time difference. And I picked up a lot of things. I became obsessed with reading. I wasn't that type of a person before. Everybody will think that I read a lot of books, but I wasn't that person. I picked that up before I moved. And, nobody really helps you in the US. It's just like that. Nobody's that generous. Learning how to do that, learning how to pay my bills, and learning how to get a job by myself, not really relying on anyone. And I think it's a different experience when you do things alone, and you travel alone. I'm sure you feel, I'm sure you can relate to this.
Yeah, and actually, that reminds me of something. I'd like to talk about the downsides of working right after graduating. My uncle told me once I graduated, he's like, think about what you want to study further, do your master's degree immediately. Because once you start working, you're going to see that paycheck. You're never going to leave that job. You get so comfortable in it. And at that point in time, I was like, listen, I need some work experience. Please let me live my life. It's so true. Now I realize it. You won't even feel like going back to university again. That is, if you want to study. After you see the paycheck, there's no way you will want to live with an allowance as a student. But at the same time, I'm so grateful because my job helps me travel and afford the lifestyle that I desire. And all of these take precedence over anything else for me. I mean, of course, it varies from person to person. And I think partly going back to school is also scary because I know that choosing my bachelor's specialization was a mistake. It's not a mistake, but yeah, right now, I think it was not the right decision. And so, if I'm going to do a master's degree, it all needs to be perfect, and that I should be studying something that I thoroughly enjoy and something that I'm meant to be doing. I'm very dramatic like that, but wait, I'm not spiraling though. But anyway, that's what's on my mind, and I guess I'll have to take it slow and be patient.
Yeah.
And
I
one
think,
day, when I look
yeah,
back, all the dots will finally connect
it will.
dramatically.
Like when I was in my like master's class, I could see that a lot of people didn't want to be there. I cannot tell you the amount of people I saw, and they were just like, I'm here because I just wanted to come to the US. And that was so, I couldn't understand that because I was so passionate about what I was doing. That was me in engineering college. I know the 4 years people who'd spend time with me, they just look at me and be like, why are you wasting your parents' money? Why do you come to college if you don't want to be here? I didn't understand the feeling of those people then, but now that I look at people in I used to look at people in my class and I used to think, why are you guys here? Like, it's your choice, it's your master's degree. But I realized that that's not what they want to do. Just because that's what I want to do doesn't mean that that's what they want to do. And I didn't want to work. I was the complete opposite when I graduated. I felt like I wasn't ready to work. But I think that's a wrong notion to you. You're never ready for anything. You're only ready when you step into it. Like you said, when you started, you didn't, if they had just put you in meetings, you would have felt like I'm not ready for this. But then 6 months down the line, you would have felt like, okay, I've attended so many meetings, I know I can handle this. But I think it's like just throwing yourself into the fire and being like, okay, I will figure out how to, make the stuff work.
I couldn't agree more. I think like most of life is about showing up and doing it scared, doing it with doubt and everything, but just doing it somehow without overthinking it and other complications, which is so easy to say, but it's so difficult to follow. Just do it. Don't have second thoughts about it. Wait, this does not apply to everything, okay? I mean,
Yeah, some things you have to think about. Don't go behind that red flag. Think about it.
okay, yeah, it does not apply like that. So that's what I was saying. But
Earlier you were talking about jack of all trades and master of none concept. I've heard so many people talk about that, and I hate that when they say you should only focus on this particular aspect. There's no way you can succeed in this economy with just knowing one thing. You have to know if you know copywriting, you have to know how to edit videos. If you know how to sing, you need to know how to like manipulate the audio and how to use like syncing stuff. I don't know the music terms, but I think you need to know like a couple of different things in the same industry or even like varied industries for you to show up better. And I think now we're talking about health. When we talk about health and wellness, I don't know a lot of the bio stuff, but you do. You may think that, what I learned these 4 years is not, it's a waste of time. But then I remember the last episode when we were talking about, like, I don't want to pronounce it wrong. What was that called? That,
circadian rhythm.
yeah, I don't want to say it wrong, but you knew that better than I did. That's because you have the exposure to it. And I
Yeah.
might know something in IT that I probably would think like, I never thought that I paid attention in class until I started working. I was like, oh, I know this use case diagram. I know this database. I'm like, what? I never paid attention in class. How are these things in my brain? And I think we think that we don't pick up on stuff, but we do. And nothing is a waste of time. Like my mom always used to tell me, education never goes to waste. I think it's a very Indian parent thing to say, like, oh, education never goes to waste. Whatever you study right now, it's going to help you in the future. Not everything, not y equals mx plus c, but I think, some things help. Maybe you can use that to like judge like when guys cross a line. Like I want to use y equals mx plus c to see where the slope line or something. I saw a meme like that. I'm just like, yeah, this might make sense, but I'm just kidding.
Maybe this is how magically the dots connect. Maybe this is what I'm looking for. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I know you're into like sustainability. You talk about eco-friendly stuff, and I think it triggers you more than most people because you know about it and you've done a lot of research on it. You've studied more about it.
Yeah, maybe this is my calling. Let's see. Maybe I'm giving myself 1 year time. That's all, Likita. That's all you have. Better fucking figure out what you want to do in your life.
I feel like you want to have everything figured out. It's like I think you're the kind of person who will watch the last episode of a series and just be like, okay, this is what I like and this is what it's going to end up. Now let me go back in time. I feel like that's how you are.
Yeah, I mean, is something wrong with me? Like,
No.
I actually don't mind listening to spoilers. I don't mind it because I'm more comfortable now saying, okay, wait, I know this is going to happen. And I wish there was someone with like a crystal ball for my life saying, oh, Likita, this is what you're meant to be doing in your life. This is your purpose. and just magically get that intuition saying, oh my God, this is what I'm meant to be doing. I think it's so overrated at the same time, but meh. It's a never-ending spiral for me. Like,
And you got so mad when I spoiled Leo for you. I didn't even know that was the ending. Okay, so I didn't even see the movie. I was just like, okay, let me spoil it for everyone because everyone's spoiling the movie for me.
I was just being dramatic. I wasn't even mad that you spoiled it for me.
Yeah, Likita, look, life's a journey, not a destination. You cannot know where you're going. You just have to go with the flow. I think that's the fun of it, right? If you know everything, I mean, trust me, I want to know everything too. I want to like figure everything out. I'm such a planner. I want to know everything where the next second I'm going to be. But I think it's also the fun of it, like not knowing what you're going to do. And I know we're both like type A personalities. We want to plan stuff. The reason why, if we travel together, I think it'll be so much fun because we both will plan every single minute of the day and it'll be fun. But I also think it's nice to have, someone or even like parts of yourself where you're like, I'm going to go with the flow. I know it never ends well for us, but I mean, let's give it a try. What can go wrong,
I think we should definitely make another episode or talk more about this because there's so much to talk about it. We'll go on and on. There's different avenues in life that would change after graduations, your relationships, your career, your job, and self-growth, everything like that. So we should definitely do another episode. But at the same time, I would love to know what our listeners think. Don't you?
100%. Like, are you graduating? Are you still in school? Like, how do you feel? I really want to know how excited you are. Don't tell me stuff if you're like getting new stationery. I will be so jealous. Don't tell me that. I don't want to know that. Don't send me pictures. But I do want to know like how did you feel after graduating? What was the emotions like? How did you figure stuff out? Did you feel lost? If you figured it out, how did you figure it out? I want to know that. We'll leave the Q&A box with like, tell us what you think so that you can really like talk about anything you want. We're not going to stick to one particular question. We want to know how you feel. So, tell us what's on your mind.
Yeah, with that, we've come to the end of episode 2. Yay! So
Very excited.
let us know. Let us know what you think. We have a feedback form that's been active. Anything about the audio, things we talk, just let us know, and we'd love to hear what you think and change stuff up. So
Yeah, let us know. We are excited. It's 4:30 a.m. for me. I'm going to go back to sleep.
you're not. You're gonna go do journaling or something. I know.
Yeah, true. Oh, yeah. See, guys, this is how like long distance friendship, you make it work. Okay, you just make it work. You just need to prioritize stuff. Just learn from us.
So someone on the Q&A box said, asked us to do an episode on long distance friendship, and yeah,
Come in.
that's on the queue.
You know it's coming.
Also, don't forget to leave us a rating and follow us on Spotify, Apple, and Amazon Music.
Yes. See you guys in the next episode. Take care. Bye.
Thank you and bye. Mwah.